Hello there, welcome along to the Matchday Live preview in association with Standard Chartered, which this evening comes from Villa Park. 3 games to go in the season. Liverpool 3 points behind the champions Manchester City in this title race. Mark Lawrenson is alongside me. A very good evening.
Good evening. Love this ground.
Beautiful, isn't it?
It's a proper football ground.
Any ground with 4 stands always gets the big tick from
and
me.
no shopping centre, none of that rubbish, whatever. It's just a proper ground,
and
isn't
chimneys, did you say? Any
chimney
ground
pots.
with chimneys?
Any ground with chimney pots. Look at us at Anfield, look at Goodison, Man United, all those places with chimney pots.
Let's start with a bit of trivia, because I know you hate things like this.
I thought chimney pots was trivia.
Chimney pots was bad enough, but 36 years ago today, what were you doing?
I've no idea. Breathing, that's about it. Just
a little bit more than that. You were playing in the FA Cup final.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, of course, it's May, isn't it?
Yeah. 3-1 victory over Everton. Happy memories?
Yeah, great memories.
Yeah.
Great memories. We were awful first half. We got the biggest rollicking from Ronnie Moran. And he said, are you too busy waving to your girlfriends or your wives or both? And came out second half. That was when Brucey and Jim Beglin fell out. I don't know if you remember.
No, it's before.
But it wasn't a massive fallout.
Right.
But everyone said, oh, you played really well after that. They just were shouting at each other. But we were very good in the second half, in fairness.
And hopefully another FA Cup to come this weekend. But before that, it is the matter of the league. Would it be fair to say that what was a small margin for error is now no margin for error for Liverpool?
Yeah, definitely. I think as well that Tottenham played really well at the weekend. I thought they were good. I think they're the only team that we've played in the league for a long time, apart from City, who were a threat on the counter, and I think because of that we weren't quite sort of committed enough, if that makes any sense. So yeah, it's a big one, and I don't know what the Stevie G input will be. Everyone makes a big deal about it, but he's not playing, is he? And Jurgen's not playing. I will definitely change the team a little bit, I would have thought, which is something that he's done, but even if we change it for 3 or 4 players, I still think we've got enough.
Just to go back to the Spurs game then, you use that phrase there that they carry a threat. They're the only team in the Premier League who's not been beaten by either Liverpool or Manchester City this season. Is that because of that threat and the fact that they do offer something? You can't just push everyone forward. Well,
exactly, Rob. I mean, you basically answered your own question, which is unusual. But no, exactly, because if you're playing at the back, certainly the 2 centre-backs, and Fabinho, you're a little bit wary of obviously going and joining in, because there is that threat, and there was that threat. I mean, they could have actually pinched it, couldn't they? In fairness to Tottenham, I don't think we get many signs like that. I mean, I think Villa will push on here. They've suddenly started winning games, haven't they? So confidence is high, but hopefully they do, because I just think we'll pick them off.
When you look at it then, the other thing that happened over the course of the weekend was that emphatic win for Manchester City a day later, which now brings goal difference into it. But I guess there's that delicate thought for Jurgen Klopp and the players of, let's just win the games first before we start thinking about goals.
Well, go back to Brendan. The Crystal Palace game, the Crystal Palace game. So yeah, you just make sure that you win the game. I think that's the most important thing. And I think just the way we are at the moment is, you could play every day. And all right, we drew at the weekend, but generally we've won every game. And you're just in a mindset where you don't want to train. You just like, are we playing tomorrow? Yeah, absolutely no problem. You don't get you don't feel any knocks or whatever. And you know, I say many times that the great thing about this stage of the season for the football club is no injuries. Well, Firmino, no injuries, but he's nearly ready as well, isn't he? So no injuries. So I mean, Jurgen Klopp must have all the things up on the board and look at all the players fit, and they're all on one side, so he can keep changing it. As a manager, with the ability that we've got with all those players, it's a great problem to have.
It's probably a daft question, because we've felt like
it's nothing new.
Absolutely right. I may as well stay consistent, but it seems like Liverpool have been playing cup finals since, I don't know, February maybe. So the fact that it's an FA Cup final Saturday didn't really change a huge amount. No,
absolutely doesn't. And it looks like Saturday, the way that Chelsea are, they're all over the place. It's amazing when the noise around Chelsea started with Abramovich, etc. And you know, we thought they're going to be very poor, and they were all right, weren't they? Now all of a sudden, as it looks like about to get new owners, they're all over the place, and may it be so on Saturday.
You touched on it a moment ago about Steven Gerrard isn't going to be the man on the pitch tonight. It's a bit of a weird quirk of fate that he and Villa and Wolves both play Liverpool and Manchester City in the final 3 games of the season, but I suppose anyone who thinks that Steven Gerrard involved in any type of football will come into anything half-baked because it's Liverpool hasn't watched much of Steven Gerrard over the last however many years.
Yeah, I mean, his team aren't going to lie down, are they, and let us roll over them, most definitely. In essence, he actually will want to win. Privately, obviously, probably upset himself, but, you know, it's a listen, they can get probably getting the top 10, I think, with a couple of wins, couple of more wins.
Been since 2011.
No, exactly, and he's had an iffy season, really. Had a good start and then an iffy run, and they've obviously started winning again. Now he'll want his team to win, and also the other thing, I think, that if he can get in the top 10, it may enable him to attract different kind of players for next season to come and play for him.
Well, let's hear from the two managers then, Jurgen Klopp in just a moment, but first from Steven Gerrard, who wasn't too worried yesterday when he spoke to the media about being the man who could potentially derail Liverpool's title challenge.
My job is to win games for Aston Villa, and that'll always be the case while I'm representing this club, or whatever club I am representing. I want to win fiercely, and there'll be nothing different on my mind tomorrow is to go in to win the game. In terms of Liverpool, the season's over 38 games, play Aston Villa twice, so if you're wanting headlines that Steven Gerrard says he's going to stop Liverpool's title hopes, I'm not going to go there for you, unfortunately.
We both have 3 games to play, and my concern is actually how can we win our games, and then we have absolutely no hand in how City will play their games, but before they are played, I think we should not add on points. We don't do that, and I'm pretty sure City is not doing that. So, and as far as not reachable anymore, why should we stop believing? And that's what we do.
Well, let's talk about this first part then of a Premier League season for Steven Gerrard. Villa 16th when he arrived and Dean Smith was sacked. How's he done?
I would say 7 out of 10 probably. I think he's attracted 1 or 2 players, which is good, Coutinho, etc. I think they've struggled a little bit, and I think when the expectation got a little bit bigger, they seem to struggle. But listen, it's part of being in the Premier League. What he will have learned is the highs and lows. I was going to say there's no easy games in the Premier League, obviously there aren't, but it's cutthroat. The whole business is, and he'll know who he wants to keep for next season. He'll know who he wants to let go. They've probably got a shopping thing in at the moment about the players that they're going to bring in. But yeah, he's generally done well, and I think it's worked out really well for them to come in at that stage of the season. And as I say, have a look at everybody, because he'd know all about the players, but he'd only know about the players from seeing them at a distance. He'll now know what's going on between the ears, if anything, in 1 or 2 of them. But it just makes a difference. He's surrounded by really good people as well, and you look at them and you think with the right recruitments in the summer, they should be going for top 6, to be honest with you.
And that's interesting. One of the phrases that you used there was cutthroat, and it seems that they're in that gaggle of clubs where they're 3 games away from being brilliant or 3 games away from being in a relegation battle. We're seeing it with teams like Southampton this year. Ralph Hasenhüttl's the best thing ever, or Brendan Rodgers is the best thing ever, and then suddenly they're not. Well,
I mean, the Brighton manager's suddenly having the same thing, Graham Potter as well, and they said, he could, outside chance of getting this job and that job. Look, I think as they say, and they know all the managers, is there just aren't any easy games. They're all really, really difficult unless you play Man United at the weekend, of course. but that's the way that it is, and everybody knows everything about each other, and they know they've got so much stuff now which they get fed into them about the way teams play, how to stop them playing, all those kind of things. But it's just the best league in the world, and we're lucky that we have one of the 2 best teams in the world at the moment.
And it is
club teams.
Absolutely, and it is very much a case of friends reunited as well, because it's not just Steven Gerrard tonight, it's Danny Ings, but it's also Felipe Coutinho, who, when you're looking at players who can change games in the click of a finger, he certainly fits into that category, as we know better than anyone.
He's not been too great of late, has he?
He tailed off after a bright start.
A little bit of a downtime, which is pretty normal as well. Will he start tonight? You would have thought so.
Well, Gerrard spoke at the weekend about how he rested him against Burnley for this.
Playing. He's playing. And Ings, I like Ings, always have. I think he was really, really unlucky at our football club with those injuries, etc. And I noticed they played 2 up front, didn't they, at the weekend? So if they play that way, I think it plays into our hands, to be honest with you. But it's going to be a difficult fixture, and it'll be rocking, won't it?
Team-wise, what would you do, Liverpool perspective?
I think you'd probably make 3 or 4 changes, but not massive. I mean,
Matip?
Yeah, I'd have Matip in. I think Keita would start, would he not? Would Jota not possibly start as well? It's one of those, isn't it? But the great thing we have is, after 70 minutes, it can take loads of them off, bring the cavalry back on, and hopefully if we need to win the game from that particular position, that's why we're in such a good position, because we can just come on and change the game.
Well, Liverpool will be hoping it is a very different occasion to last season. Of course, a famous 7-2 win for Aston Villa that night in an empty ground here at Villa Park. But Kostas Tsimikas is expecting an equally difficult occasion this time around.
It will be a very, very tough game. It will be a very intense game. But for me, we have to be us, to be exactly how we want to play with the same. We have to be focused 100%. We want to win, and we'll go for it. This is our mentality. This is the goals we set. Everybody who wants to play has to work hard in training and has to show is ready for the. I think, okay, for me, personally is the best squad I train with and I play with. This is very important for one team. Hopefully with no injuries, because until now we didn't have any big injury, and I think this is the best for me personally, and this shows we are a family. We work for each other, we fight for each other, and that's why we are here.
So those are the thoughts of Kostas Tsimikas. We'll see whether he is involved from the start this evening.
He'll start.
You reckon?
Yeah. I think. Well, Robbo went off quite early. I presume it was a precaution, but I would have thought Tsimikas will start tonight. I'd be surprised if he doesn't.
All right, we shall see. We will bring you team news during Matchday Live at 7 o'clock. Let's just signpost the coverage throughout the course of the evening. Matchday Live at 7, we'll hear more from Jurgen Klopp and from Steven Gerrard as well. Full audio commentary from 8 with Steve Hunter and Stephen Warnock. And then the Matchday reaction at 10 o'clock. Throwing it forward to tomorrow and what is coming up. Midnight, you'll be able to see the full 90 minutes available on LFC TV Go. And then from midnight, the following night, you'll be able to see all the behind-the-scenes access from inside Villa. Laura, thank you very much.
Too much information, I think.
Very much so. I managed to garble my way through it, though. Thank you.
Story of your life.
Thank you for the moment. We will be back with you a little bit later on. Bye for now, though.